Beautiful. So what this live is going to be about is this idea of deep and meaningful conversation. But the key piece is for it to be rooted and anchored, really anchored deeply from the body wisdom. So having been teaching yoga for about 8 years, working with energy, working with the body, and in the last 2 years really beginning to work more exclusively with women and the feminine, what I often see is this decapitation, as it were, where all of the energy really is in the head and the relationship to the body is severed, and learning how to reconnect those two things so that there's like a body mind, and that we can start to tap into the wisdom that resides in the body and speaking and giving it a voice from that place. And my own experience of that has been really challenging. You know, it's not something that is always easy on a day-to-day basis, but like I remember when I was starting out with this idea, being a very fast thinker and having always been celebrated for my words, my mind, my ability to problem solve. It took a while to slow down, which is really giving like the key to coming back into the body and taking time to like actually think about or feel into what needs to be said, like what is the ultimate truth. And the idea that Dance Your Wisdom is predominantly immersive, so there's this invitation of going back into our bodies as women, as participants, but then to extract the wisdom from the well of the body. And so there's a really complementary, open floor sort of coaching, sharing session that we use after, like 2 weeks after we integrate from the dance, after we've gleaned the wisdom from the experience of moving our bodies, after we've sort of in the weeks between seen patterns that have emerged all through the lens of our own body, our own experience, we can come together and speak from that place, whatever that truth is. I think that's really, really important, because as we start to delve into what resides within the body, a lot of stuff can come up, and it might be the very first time that we are meeting these truths. Thank you if you've just joined. I'm talking about the power of actually speaking from the body. And if you've had an experience of that, feel free to leave it in the comments, or on the other side of that coin, if you don't understand what that is, or struggle to have that relationship between body and mind and expression, then feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And to practice what I preach, I'm just going to take a breath and come back in. And so when we share like that, when we speak from our bodies, less words come out, which I think is really important. And that space provides, like an empty space, provides us to actually hear what is being said. I think that's a really essential piece, is that is part of the container of the program. But even you can practice this in any kind of relating, any type of conversation, is to actually pause. Remember, you have ears, and just listen to what's being said. And in that sort of empty space, when someone's being really present to you and you speak from a bodily place, a rooted place, through hearing yourself, you can actually heal yourself. One of my teachers, Sarah, says this all the time. You know, first we need to hear ourselves and be able to heal ourselves. And so being able to work deeply within the body, as well as voicing from the body, voicing the truth, voicing what's coming up and through, really is this like beautiful union that this program will offer in a really held, loving way. I often think about listening as though I were a heart with ears. And that's sort of come through my understanding of grief work and heart work, to be a heart with ears. And that takes practice too. And ultimately, though, that allows anyone to feel really heard, but predominantly giving them the space to hear the words that they're speaking themselves. And so in terms of the actual programming container, these hour-long probably end up being a bit longer, the way that it takes as we start to share. We'll hold that, but also we have a community private group called The Flow. It's like a container, which isn't actually on Facebook. So if you're like, oh, not another Facebook group, don't worry, I'm with you. I absolutely have had my fair share of those. I'm almost done, mostly. So I'm setting that up on something called the Mighty Networks, and it's a totally separate, contained place where we can continue to share our truth, share our experiences that's coming up for us in our whole life. Because when we start to tap into our body and tap into this wisdom that exists within us, we can start to see different areas of our life beginning to transform and change. And this is also why I didn't want to do like a 6-week program. I really wanted to give the time that it takes, this idea of moving slowly and consistently, working our way through something which ultimately will be a framework you can always come back to. Like, I'm really passionate about that. There's that saying, like, teaching someone how to fish, but I was actually just speaking with someone, and it's more like reminding the lioness how to hunt through like being in a pride of women, remembering that this is like innate in us, this way of being in harmony with nature, but also our own nature, our own flesh and blood, and our own inner experience. So that's a really key piece for me. And like, I really want this to be something that you experience and are able to carry through with you. I really want to create that for myself, but for other women. Yeah, I'm seeing some lion emojis coming up in the chat. Yeah, it's really essential, because the truth is we've just forgotten. I mean, all you have to do is look at the state of the world that we're living in, that values the cerebral, that values a more masculine essence. It's starting to tip back, but it really requires us to be fierce about the boundaries we have around us while we're doing this work. Hence also why I wanted to hold this over a set period of time. Like, we're holding each other over 4 months, which will go quite quickly, no doubt, but 4 months to build and fortify and galvanize this community of women. It's been deeply, deeply healing for me, and it's something that I continue to strive to create in the world. I really want that for women. I want spaces for women, myself included, where we're able to listen in and express the truth and really come to trust ourselves and trust our intuition in a way that maybe we haven't before. And it's not like, oh, I can trust my intuition, that's done. We're constantly evolving, constantly changing. And ways of deepening that trust is by being in the presence of other women. We might not be able to be physically together, but what I know is that the internet for me and this way of working through Zoom, this way of working through like group chats on whatever platform has really helped me to come to know myself, come to love myself, and have a deeper love and respect for the women in my life. It's just been so, so beautiful. So I'm just going to have a little sip of tea. Yeah, I'm just trying to feel if there's anything else that I've missed here. No, I don't think there is anything else that I've missed here. If there's anything you want to share in the comments, or if you're watching this back, you want to leave some comments, I'm just going to give some space for you to collect your thoughts and your feelings. Hi there, if you're just joining. I've just been sharing on the idea of like deep and meaningful conversations, but to actually speak from the depths of our bodies. And from like a physiological point of view and an energetic point of view, many of you may have heard this already, but if you haven't, there's actually a direct correlation with the cervix and the cervical spine and the throat. There's also an energetic relationship between the belly and the throat. So like the second, third chakra relate to the throat and the third eye. So this intuition piece connecting sixth and second energy center chakras, and then the belly and the throat, this sense of I, sense of self, and ability to speak with truth are connected also. And again, that tying into the body wisdom that we hold is just so essential, and giving ourselves that space and that time to really just take a moment and like, ask ourselves to really speak the truth from those depths. You know, it takes a lot of practice, but I also believe that it's when we're in these safe containers and safe space or right relationship with people in our lives that we can actually take that time to then speak from that place, however uncomfortable the truth is sometimes, because it can be extremely excruciating, especially if we've never given ourselves the opportunity to open like that before. Hi there. So I don't feel like there's anything else that is really pertinent that wants to make itself known or to come through now. Yeah, there's nothing else there. But if you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to put it into the chat. If you just joined, we're just about to wrap up, so hopefully you'll tune into the replay once this live is over. What I want to say is that the program starts on January 30th. So it's a few weeks away, and it will run for 4 months. And it's basically 2 sessions a month, which is about 3 hours a month that will be together, but then completely supported by the community space, the flow, the private group for us all. Hi there, I guess. And so, yeah, we begin on the 30th of January, and tomorrow is the last day for the early bird. So that's 20% off the cost of the program, whether you pay in full or if you opt in for payment plans. And if the payment plan option isn't still right for you, we can look to tweak that. So just please reach out. Like, I know what it feels like not to be able to do something that feels really important because of financial barriers. So please, hand on heart, just ask and we'll see what we can create together if that's something that's stopping you, but you feel that bodily pull, like, I really want to do this program. So yeah, reach out to me if that's the case for you. And if you're someone that's connecting from different parts of the world, we will be recording everything and sharing it in the private group. So there's that to consider. I mean, I'm deeply, deeply honoured so far. We've got Canada, we have Australia, and we have the UK. So I'm really excited to welcome you from wherever you are in the world, regardless of what season you're currently in. Doesn't matter. This work's all about going in to connect to the wisdom of your body through the seasons, through the elements, and primarily the practice of dance. And this piece of being heard and communicating and having deep and meaningful conversations from the wisdom that's been coming up and through you through the course of this program. Yeah. Hi there. Love you, Claire. Thanks for the little emojis. If you have any questions or you've just joined in, I'm going to be ending this live now. So feel free to catch the replay, and the link in my bio has all of the details for this program, Down to Your Wisdom. And there's also previous IGTVs that I did live since Sunday. So you can go back and actually get a taste of what it's like to work with me and what this program is really about. It's really a soul offering, and I'm just beside myself and really ready to move through this with all of you. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching the replay. Sending you loads and loads of love. May you all be a heart with ears when listening to yourself and when listening to others in your life. Really, really beautiful practice, and may you have the grace and the strength to speak the truth and from the depths of your being, no matter how uncomfortable that is. Sending you lots of love.